If you watched the first part of the teaching, you may recall this simple point. Awakening is not something to be attained. It is the recognition of your true nature, a nature that has never been absent, your pure awareness. Nothing was added, no method was given, no promise was made, and no destination was set. Only one belief has quietly dissolved, the belief that awakening must be earned through effort. When that belief falls away, another question may arise. If nothing is lacking, if awareness has never been absent, then why practice? In today's video, this question is not answered with comfort. It is answered with precision. Because practice, as Bodhidharma reveals, does not exist to take you somewhere else, but to show you how effort itself became the obstruction, a subtle distraction that quietly leads you even further away from your true nature. This is where most people turn away, because they expect practice to fix something, to improve the self, to polish the mind, to move closer to awakening. But Bodhidharma saw the danger in this logic. The moment practice becomes improvement, it quietly assumes deficiency. It says, this moment is not enough. This life must be corrected. And from that assumption, effort is born, endless movement of striving. Practice, for the master, was not a ladder. It was a clearing. He said that delusion is not caused by impurity, but by constant interference. Not by thought itself, but by believing thought must be followed. Not by emotion, but by identifying with it. Practice exists because habits exist. The habit of dividing. This versus that. Inside versus outside. Sacred versus ordinary, enlightened versus not. And the mind, left unchecked, turns your true nature into another object to chase. So practice is not about creating awareness. Awareness is already functioning, like blood moving through the veins, like the heart beating in your chest. Practice is the ending of interference. Each time you sit and refuse to adjust experience, each time you notice thought without entering it, each time you feel sensation without narrating it or identifying with it, this is Zen as it is, when the unnecessary falls away. This is why Bodhidharma warned against striving for purity. Trying to be pure creates another form of impurity. Trying to be calm creates tension. Trying to be awakened creates distance. Practice is not endless effort toward clarity. It is the willingness to let confusion reveal itself without resistance. And this is why sitting looks so simple. Because the difficulty is not in doing, it is in not doing. Just sitting with awareness fully present. Just allowing what arises to arise. Just letting what passes pass. No rejection, no endorsement. This is not passive, it is direct pointing. Because the moment you interfere, you reinforce the illusion that something needs to be fixed. And the moment you stop interfering, the division collapses on its own. Only ordinary awareness, your true nature, remains, no longer obscured by effort. Which is why he said, "Those who see their nature do not seek Buddhahood. They live." At this point, the question no longer moves forward. It turns back. If nothing needs to be gained, and nothing needs to be improved, what is left when even the impulse to practice dissolves? Here, the bloodstream sermon no longer speaks outward. It folds back into itself, toward the original mind that cannot be grasped, toward the seeing that never disappeared and simply remained there. So Bodhidharma refused to intervene or disrupt the experience unfolding in the present moment. He asked neither for the elimination of thought nor for the purification of emotion. He asked you to see. Before judgment labels experience, before memory claims ownership, before identity tightens around sensation, what is aware? That awareness is not improved by purity. It is not stained by confusion. It does not belong to the self, the ego, you are trying to fix. This is why Bodhidharma said, seeing your nature is not an achievement. It is a recognition. And recognition does not require effort. Only your simple presence. You notice that thoughts arise without permission, that emotions move without consulting you, that the body breathes without instruction. And yet, something knows all of this. That knowing does not argue, does not judge, does not purify. It simply sees. This is why purification fails, because it tries to correct appearances instead of noticing what has never been altered. Trying to remove delusion is itself delusion. Trying to secure clarity is the loss of clarity. Seeing your nature means allowing even confusion to be known without resistance, not endorsing it, not fighting it, just seeing. And when seeing is complete, the ego relaxes. This does not make you special. It makes you ordinary. You may still feel anger, still feel joy, still feel fatigue and desire, but none of it claims authority over awareness itself. This is what Bodhidharma meant by freedom. When you see your true nature, practice, effort dissolves into daily life. Walking is just walking. Breathing is just breathing. Thinking is just thinking. Nothing is rejected. Nothing is sanctified. And this is why the bloodstream sermon ends where it began. If you are still seeking purity, you have not seen your nature. If you are still trying to arrive, you are still standing apart. But if this moment requires no correction, if awareness is already functioning without your permission, then the path has quietly ended, and life has resumed. When seeking ends, nothing extraordinary begins. This is what disappoints most people. They expect light, certainty, a permanent sense of arrival. But Bodhidharma offered no such reward, because awakening does not replace life, it returns you to it. When seeking ends, you do not step into a higher state. You no longer hold on nor push away. The world remains the same. Noise continues without troubling you. Pain arises without turning into suffering. Thoughts come and go by themselves. But something subtle is absent. The demand that life be different. Before, every moment was a problem to solve, a state to manage, a self to improve. Now, there is no project. And without a project, attention relaxes. You respond instead of rehearsing. You act instead of calculating. You speak instead of performing. This is why Bodhidharma never described life after realization in spiritual terms. He spoke of eating when hungry, sleeping when tired, walking when walking. Nothing extra needs to be added. The self no longer stands between experience and response. There is no watcher watching awareness, no manager managing the mind. Just life, unobstructed. This does not make you passive. It makes you whole. At this point, when confusion arises, it is seen immediately. When anger appears, it burns cleanly, without story, without justification. When joy comes, it does not need to be protected. Everything moves as it always has. Only now, nothing is held. This is what the bloodstream sermon was pointing to from the beginning. Not a doctrine, not a method, not a tradition, but the end of standing apart from yourself. Life is simply enough, whole. This moment, exactly as it is, requires nothing from you. If something in you is still waiting for confirmation, still hoping for a final signal, let that be seen too. And soon, it too will fade on its own. What remains is silence, immediate, unowned, just as it always has. If this series has done its work, it will not follow you as an idea. It will disappear into ordinary life. If you feel the urge to take something from this, pause. Not because there is nothing here, but because nothing needs to be carried. What was pointed to was never meant to become a thought. It only works when it is no longer being held. Let it end where it began, in ordinary awareness, doing nothing special. If something quietly shifted, let it shift without naming it. If nothing happened, let nothing be enough. Waiting for nothing at all. This moment is already complete. You are already whole, fully aware.